you passionate about? Are you happy? Are you really happy? Do you trust your own instinct? What is your perception of God? Are you the best version of yourself? This is Conversations We Never Had, hosted by Wendy. And we're so excited to be sitting down with Itumeleng Modise. Who is Itumeleng Modise?
A girl from the East Rand who was born Gonadalspruit. Grew up in Togoza, which was where my mother's family is from.
Okay.
Then we moved to Spruitview, which is where I spent most of my childhood.
Okay.
And I've lived a lot of places in the East Rand. I've lived Kofoslo, I've lived Goliandale, I've lived Springs at some point. So yeah, I'm a girl from the East Rand, like fully. I represent the East Rand.
Yeah.
That is where I think a lot of my personality traits come from.
Yeah.
But I later moved to the South, Soweto, which is where my dad's family is from.
Yeah.
Which is where I think my creative side actually came out. It was always there, but I think when I moved to Soweto, that is where it actually came out, because I was exposed to so many creatives, and it was unreal for me. I was like, oh wow, people actually just do this with their lives.
Yeah. Itumeleng means to be happy.
Yes.
Are you happy right now?
I am. I am. There was a reason why I was called Itumeleng.
Yeah.
Actually, I was given the name by my aunt, my mom's older sister. And it was a very unhappy time in the family at that time when my mom was pregnant with me. So when I was born, she gave me the name just to make everyone feel like, you know, Hali Tumele, Itumeleng, you know?
Yeah.
So I would say in my life right now, currently, I am happy because I'm making the choice to be happy.
Yeah.
And making the choice to be happy doesn't mean every day is a good day, but it means you're content.
You touched on a very unhappy part of your family before you were born. They were going through a lot. Can you tell us a little bit more what was happening?
Not all of us were born into happy situations where your family was excited for you to arrive, you know? And I think that was the case for me. And my mom, I remember my mom telling me the story of that time when she was pregnant and she had such a hard time. And she told me because she wanted me to know that you are here because you're supposed to be here. A lot of people didn't want you to be here, but because God is in control, you are here. So always know that. So yeah, it was pretty much that.
Yeah. What is your idea of God?
I think I have a very broad idea of God. I don't have one idea of God because of how I was raised spiritually. I grew up, my mom used to go to our family church, which is Mapostola. And there, I don't think I got any sense of God at all.
Yeah.
Because Nababina di Fela, and then they just dance around. I had no sense of God whatsoever in that environment. Then my mom decided to leave the church and become Christian or charismatic, umzalwane.
Yeah.
And there, I think, was my introduction of God properly, because we had Sunday school and, you know, we studied the Bible and we were taught, you know, stories in certain chapters, and we were asked, what is the lesson from this? You know, what did God want to teach this person by making them go through this? And it was very communal, you know. So that was, I think, my first proper introduction to God and the idea of God and what God is or can be in your life. So that is my foundation, I'd say. And my mom's still very much like a spiritual church-going woman till this day. But at some point, I decided to stop going to church and kind of discover what my relationship with God what that looks like for me. I think it's an infinite journey. You're always learning about God and what God means for you. But yeah, since I stopped going to church, I don't want to say I'm more spiritual. I don't want to claim that. But I'd say I'm more conscious of my relationship with God because I'm very intentional about it. I can't rely on a community of people to hold me up and be like, okay, we're praising God. I'm on my own, you know? I'm really on my own. At some point in my life, God just felt like love for me. I was like, because I was always kind of hearing God always being associated with fear. Yeah. And I was like, it's not a... When you're in fear, when you're living in fear, you're living at a very low vibration. Yes. So your ability to do things and to be successful and to thrive, the chances of that are low because you're just like, ula. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And I don't think people understand that when they're constantly saying or associating fear with God. Yeah. So for me, God became like the symbol for love for me because I feel like God loves us so unconditionally. And us understanding that does not mean that we can do whatever we want to do. It does not mean we lose respect for God because he loves us unconditionally. Yeah. And that is what we're taught, you know, that we must fear him because we respect him. I don't know.
I mean, you keep on saying him. Yeah. And it sort of tells me how you recognize God. Yeah. Do you think God is a he?
I think God is beyond a he or a she. I think we use the word he simply as a means to an end. Okay. You know, and I say he with a lot of awareness. Yes. You know, I don't say it with God is a man with a white beard sitting on a throne. Yes. You know, that is not my ideal concept of God. It is just my foundation. Yes. I could say she. Sometimes I describe God as she because in that moment, that is how God translates to me. Yes. But there's moments where God translates as a father, as a protective, you know, like the head of the household. I don't think we can run away from male and female perspectives as much as we can want to be liberal about it. Yes. But when you think, for me, in a lot of instances, when I think of God, he is a very high authoritative figure in my life. Yeah. And that is associated with men, and that's okay. It's okay. I think mother, for me, translates in a lot of things that have to do with, like, nature. Yeah. That's when I connect to a feminine energy. Yes. But when it comes to God, you would God is very much a
protector. Yeah, no, makes sense. What is your belief system?
I have a layered belief system, I'll say. Like I said, my foundation is Christianity. Yes. You know, and I'll never ever disregard it. You know, I'll never.
That's where you grew up. That's what you knew from a very young age,
and I was very dedicated to it. Yeah. So, you know, Christianity is a part of my belief system. Buddhism is a part of my belief system as well. I resonate with a lot of Eastern religions, just because of the way they approach how connected everything is. Yeah.
What is your take on African spirituality?
I don't have the greatest of knowledge and history and insights, and I think it's purely because I didn't really grow up in a home where it was emphasized. It's kind of like you're exposed to it makunomsebenzi, like makushona umuntu, you know, makushona ugogo, malume, or whatever. You know,
that's all you know.
That's all you know, but nobody kind of sits down with you and explains the need for it, the reason for it, you know, the purpose for it. So you kind of, you just do it as, I'm just supposed to do it. It's like going to school.
Yeah,
you
there's
know?
no understanding, there's no depth in it.
No, and my dad was just not good at talking to his kids.
Yeah.
You know? And I feel like it's a man's job. Yeah, umama can, but umsebenzi wobaba, like,
yeah.
as a man, especially because we take your surname, you know.
Yes. Like vele mesihlaba. I mean, my family don't asiyenzi into zokuhlaba nani. We don't really follow up a lot on those things, but I can imagine uyahlaba anazi ukuthi nihlabela ini, and it's just like so confusing, but you do it either way.
Because adults just go about it because that's what must be done. They don't really take the time to sit with kids.
Yes, and explain word to word.
It's kind of like you're expected to know at some stage when, you know, an older male figure has passed on.
Yeah.
Then it's like, mhlambe, you have to step in where you didn't have to step in before. Then it's like you kind of have to like figure your way around it.
Yeah.
And by that time, it's just like you just expected to do it because ekhaya kwenza kanje. You know?
Yeah.
I think the issue is my dad.
Yeah.
Because with his family, they are very traditional. Like if you look at his dad's brothers and his uncles, you know, they are very like traditional Sotho men. But my dad was never like that because he grew up this side. He was a very like street smart guy. He doesn't care about those things. He honestly doesn't.
As Black people, do you think it's important that we know these things?
I think it is important for us to have some knowledge of it so we can navigate our way through it, because I think we don't always know how to, because we're so exposed to so much. You know, we believe in crystals and energy and, you know, ngapha amadlozi, ngapha it's God, ngapha it's like, it's a lot, you know. And I think putting it all together is sometimes challenging. I know it's challenging for me.
You spoke about death, and obviously ukhuluma ngamadlozi has to do with death as well. What is your understanding of death?
I believe spirits never really die. I think they visit us, they protect us, they guide us, you know. So I don't know if you ever really rest as a spirit, you know, when they say rest in peace. I don't know if you ever really rest, you know, because even the concept of amadlozi, like ayasivikela.
Yes, they're always at work.
Yes. So it's I think ultimately it's all the same thing.
You mentioned a situation that you were in regarding your baby passing away and being able to feel a spirit psyche. Can you dive in a little bit on that journey?
It took me a very long time. I was a very sad person for a very long time. I was very angry with God for a very long time. You know, there was a point in time where I felt like I'm never gonna be okay.
How did you maneuver?
In that same year, I lost my baby, and then like a month later, I lost a very close friend who was like a spirit guide for me. He helped me get into meditation. He introduced me to meditation, in fact. You know, so I was just like, how am I gonna lose the person who's like good,
supposed
the one
to
person
take me out of this
you
mess.
know, who's the one person I'm like, okay, at least Libs can help me navigate my way through it, and then he dies. So it was one thing after the other. So I decided to go to a medium and communicate with their spirits. And that was so beautiful for me. It was so comforting for me. Like I left there, ngati, like the weight on my shoulders was just, it was gone. You know, and that, because it felt like I was carrying around a very big hole in my chest. I was walking around like empty. You know? I felt that hole close a little bit. after that.
What is your lesson learned around what you've went through?
I think I had to start understanding that it's not personal.
It's not personal.
When I communicated with my baby, he was very sad that he left, but also he was just like, I really couldn't stay. And he told me why. He was like, I really couldn't stay. And because I lost him very close to 9 months, you know? And he was like, I prolonged being around, like I really couldn't stay, you know? And I had to get that, and I had to understand that it's really not a personal or anything.
What has been your biggest achievement so far?
Realizing my purpose and being unapologetic about it.
Yeah.
For me, that is a big achievement, and I don't take it for granted because I know not everyone has that, you know? So for me, I feel like it's an achievement for me to feel like I know why I'm here.
Yeah.
Like I wake up and even on a bad day, I know why I'm here. So I understand that, and I can get through the bad days because I know why I'm here.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a very big achievement for me. And I didn't always have that. So to have that now is a big deal for me.
Do you think you're living a purposeful life?
I live in my purpose daily, in the things that I choose to feed myself with, and the things that I choose to focus my energy on, and the things I choose to share with people.
If you had an opportunity to write a letter to your father, what would you include in that letter?
I just wish he was more active in my life. I'd tell him, because I don't think he knows me. He doesn't know me at all. He doesn't know the type of person that I am. I think he knows little things here and there, but essentially, he doesn't know what I'm passionate about. And I don't know if he cares, you know? But what I do appreciate about my dad is that he will show up in those big moments when he's needed. Because he's alive.
Don't they just,
and
yeah.
He will show up.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I don't know if my dad knows how to be a dad. I don't think he knows.
Do you fault him for that?
To a certain degree. To a certain degree. And then my human side comes in and I'm like, maybe he just didn't know, hey? His intentions have never been bad.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe he just didn't know.
If you were to die today, how would you like to be remembered?
I'd like to be remembered as a happy person. I'd like to be remembered as someone who was a light, who just brought light into any situation.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
That's it. Well, that's it from me too. Thank you so much, Sola, for your time. I think I've resonated on a lot of things that you've said, and you also validated some of the things that I've had or issues that I've had about myself, and you've always done that to me. Every time I'm just going through your social media page, I'm like, there's so much light when I go through your stuff and the things you write, the honesty. I appreciate you in that kind of way. You've helped me during my darkest moments. Sometimes we just don't say these things, but honestly speaking, you have assisted me going down and down into your Instagram account and having to read your story. It's beautiful. It's light. I think I speak for many people that know you, and just keep up being a good person. Just keep on just rocking and assisting us, because I think that is your purpose. I think you're so beautiful, and it's a beautiful thing to also recognize someone as young as you to live a purposeful life, because not a lot of us are doing that. And go forth with love.
Let's talk about things we keep
Yay.
inside, deep in our souls, that make us who we are. All the pain, the things that bring us down, the darkness and the light that we carry